Resene paints are designed and made right here in New Zealand to endure our unique climate and harsh environment. Quality paints that last. Resene, it's all over New Zealand.
Kei aku nui, kei aku rahi, tēnā rā koutou katoa. I wish you all a warm welcome to the presentation of the 2020 Western Architecture Awards, proudly brought to you by Te Kāhui Whaihanga New Zealand Institute of Architects. This is the sixth in this year's series of local architecture awards that celebrate the best architecture in the regions covered by the Institute of Architects' 8 branches. Normally, these awards are announced at events attended by architects, clients, builders and consultants, all the people who make architecture happen. But of course, this is not a normal year, and we're all having to do things differently. As the whakatauki has it, ka mate kāinga tahi, ka ora kāinga rua. When one house fails, build another. Although the format of tonight's event is different, its purpose remains the same: to recognise the achievements of architects and their clients, promote awareness of New Zealand's architecture, and acknowledge the difference good design can make in our communities. One person who has spent her career making a difference is the president of Te Kāhui Whaihanga New Zealand Institute of Architects, Judy Keith Brown. Before we turn to the Western Architecture Awards, Judy has a brief message about the awards, the Institute, and some of the current architectural issues in Aotearoa.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Te Kāhui Whaihanga NZIA Local Awards are all about celebrating the best architecture of the past year. They are also an opportunity to reflect on the past 12 months, especially the last 4, and to look to the future. This has seen our local awards presentations moved into the virtual space, which offers a new opportunity to tell our story to all the people out there watching for the first time. What story will that be? I think one of fresh ideas and hope. Our profession needs to address perceptions of architects as being expensive, remote and unaffordable. We have much to offer, and by working closely with our clients, our problem-solving skills and understanding of working together will help New Zealand create a more prosperous, resilient and sustainable Aotearoa. As architects, we care deeply about our clients and communities and are passionate about our cities, towns and open spaces. We know what it takes to make homes healthy, efficient and comfortable to live in, designed to make the most impressive difference to clients' lives. When our sons were little, The Lorax by Dr. Seuss was a big favourite. Many of you will know this line from that book: "Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better." It's not. So now is our chance. Thank you to everyone who entered the awards this year and to the jury for their time and expertise. And to all the winners, congratulations to your clients and project teams. Finally, thank you Resene, our partner in these awards for 30 years, a New Zealand company supporting New Zealand architecture.
In this very unusual year, the Western Architecture Awards jury made its visits virtually, via online presentations by the architects of shortlisted projects. The Institute of Architects thanks the architects and the jury for their tolerance of this novel judging process. The Western Architecture Awards jury was led by convener Matthew Argyle from Palmerston North. Matthew was joined on the jury by architects Brady Gibbons from New Plymouth and Marianne Riley from Auckland and Susanna Shadbolt, director of Aratoi Wairarapa Museum of Art and History. Matthew Argyle says the quality of architecture presented in the Western branch made the judging process a pleasure, even though the jury did wish they could have been able to visit the shortlisted projects in person. Sustainability was high on the agenda, Matthew says, with the clever reuse of existing buildings and smart decisions about the quality and performance of new buildings. Another feature of the entries was the high level of material integrity, with the use of stone, raw steel, solid timber joinery, and the humble brick being a standout feature of award entrants and winners. Matthew says the high standard of all the shortlisted entries bodes well for the future of architecture in the Western branch of the NZIA. While we are celebrating the winners tonight, we do want to acknowledge all of those projects that were entered into the Western Architecture Awards this year, and especially the projects that were shortlisted by the judges. Here are those shortlisted projects. Now for the winners in the 2020 Western Architecture Awards, which will be announced by category. The first awards are for commercial architecture. The winners are Dawson and King by Matts Architects. The reuse of key structural elements were the basis of this New Plymouth project, in which the architects have successfully dealt with both a corner site and the need to bookend a commercial precinct to create a unique and engaging building. The bold exposure of services and structure provides a great backdrop that has allowed the building's occupants to develop and enhance their own workplaces. The Ao Nui by WSP Architecture. Challenged by a requirement to provide an importance level 4 building capable of post-disaster operation, the architects have responded by providing a well-designed commercial building in a fringe CBD location in Palmerston North. The scale of the building is managed through some smart design decisions and enhanced by the material palette. This building is exemplar for commercial developments in the provinces. The education category winners are Green School New Zealand by Boone. An extremely tight program drove an extraordinary collaborative effort between client, architect, structural engineer and the local construction industry. Necessity was the mother of invention. Design decisions were guided by what the industry could deliver, and building information modelling and off-site fabrication was used to maximise delivery times and minimise material wastage. The quality of the Green School's architecture achieved in just under a year, with 3 waka classrooms and surrounding landscaping established on-site, is impressive. Lepperton School and Community Hub by Robertson Architecture Design. This dual-purpose facility leverages the needs of the school and the community to deliver bustling and activated learning and social spaces. Expertly designed learning hubs can accommodate daily flexibility in learning activities, individual, group and class settings, and different teaching approaches. In a project with a tight budget, the architects have excelled themselves in delivering stimulating and comfortable environments for the Lepperton community. Whanganui Collegiate School, H.G. Carver Memorial Library by RTA Studio and Archifact, Architecture and Conservation in Association. The refurbished library skillfully balances heritage restoration with contemporary functionality in a design that celebrates the library's character and provides a diversity of modern study spaces. A clever black box contains the library's fixed elements and technology under a floating platform. Students can study at their discretion between gazing at the heritage trusses. Whanganui Collegiate School H.G. Carver Memorial Library is also the recipient of a Rosine Colour Award. Whanganui Collegiate School Administration Building by RTA Studio. The Whanganui Collegiate School Administration Building plays a pivotal role in the school's new campus plan. Its siting and repeating gabled forms give presence to the school upon approach, and when viewed from across the playing fields. Materials and detailing have been carefully handled to respond to each orientation of the building, and internally the building provides a rich spatial experience. The building is a fine complement to the heritage architecture of the Whanganui Collegiate School. There are 2 winners in the category of heritage. The awards go to Whanganui War Memorial Centre Strengthening by BSM Group Architects. The complex structural strengthening of this Heritage Category 1 building ensures its continued survival by applying sophisticated architectural and structural solutions that complement and enhance the building's architectural integrity and its famous form. The result is exceptional. The project has given the War Memorial Centre a new chapter in its life, not only preserving the building for its community, but also retaining an icon of New Zealand architecture. Whanganui Collegiate School, H.G. Carver Memorial Library by RTA Studio and Archifact, Architecture and Conservation in Association. The H.G. Carver Memorial Library has been beautifully restored and given a fitting new purpose for a heritage building, the pursuit of knowledge. Seismic strengthening has been integrated without adversely affecting the architectural elements, and new windows have been integrated into the building so seamlessly as to suggest they were always there. The housing category winners are G&C House by Ardern Peters Architects. The core concept of this immaculate house was the creation of a private retreat for the client, which could adapt to the frequent influx of the wider family. Locally sourced stone is used to create a spine through the house that delineates the private zones from the main living area, a strategy accentuated by a simple but highly detailed material palette of stone and timber. The living spaces are clean and bright, with sharp lines and attention paid to every detail. Two Peaks by First Light Studio. This city beach house sits nicely in its city fringe location and deals well with both the streetscape and the infill nature of the site. Playful spaces capture the imagination and provide moments of enjoyment. The thoughtfulness applied to the detailing flows through to the considered use of natural materials and finishes to provide a beautiful and healthy home. There is one winner for housing, alterations and additions. Westmere House by Dalgleish Architects. The clever use of raw materials and finishes has given this 1970s house a new lease of life. Raw steel and timber in the kitchen have been finely crafted with exquisite detailing and workmanship to match. The material palette has continued into the landscaping, with the pool and deck being cleverly detailed to present a project cohesion from inside to out. This is a well thought out alteration which sets a standard for future changes to the house. Westmere House is also the recipient of a Rosine Colour Award. The award for housing multi-unit goes to Papaioia Place Social Housing by Boone. This housing project achieves economic and environmentally sustainable objectives in tandem, with a level of design that elevates Papaioia Place well beyond other social housing in the region. The award recognises the commitment of the client, Palmerston North City Council, in bringing together the architects with a housing supply builder, a process more commonplace in larger cities and with larger budgets, that should be applauded as innovative. Replacing homes for a community of residents already located on this site, the project delivers both collective and individual housing identity. There is one award for interior architecture. The award goes to Govett Quilliam by Boone. This innovative and forward-thinking fit-out challenges the norm for law practices. The layout provides a balance of open plan, breakout, and task-specific work zones which enhances physical and visual connections throughout the space, resulting in a more cohesive place of work. This fresh, contemporary fit-out also integrates with and enhances the design of the base building. Govett Quilliam is also the recipient of a Resene Colour Award. The final category of awards is Small Project Architecture. The winners are New Plymouth Boys High School Wharenui by Boone. The architecture has been driven by its context, facilitating the school's operation within a bicultural framework. Structural strengthening work has been designed and carried out in sympathy with the existing historic building, and the building has a new life and purpose. It now functions as a flexible learning space to foster the learning of te reo Māori, allowing space for pōwhiri and performance. Iona by Drawing Room Architecture and Design. Inspired by the idea of turning an object into a building, Iona features the reclaimed hull of a 1925 Cody workboat and is a celebration of the reuse of materials. Great consideration has gone into the design, construction detailing, and crafting of the building, and the narrative of the project, from the origin of the boat to the source of other materials, gives it a strong sustainability focus. Iona is also the recipient of a Resene Colour Award. Congratulations to all those involved in the projects that received 2020 Western Architecture Awards. All winners will be acknowledged on the NZIA website and social media accounts and will be published through media outlets from tomorrow. If you are a winner, you will receive your certificate in the next few days. Please note that all award-winning projects will go forward for consideration in the 2020 New Zealand Architecture Awards, which will be judged and announced at the end of the year. Thank you again to the Western Architecture Awards jury convened by Matthew Argyle. Thank you to the sponsor of the awards program, Resene Paints. And finally, thank you, wherever you are, for joining me in this celebration of the year's best architecture in the Western branch of Te Kāhui Whaihanga New Zealand Institute of Architects. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, ā tēnā rā tātou katoa.